Hey everyone, welcome back to my second channel. First I want to thank you all for tuning in and finding this video. If you are here from my tarot and my channeled messages channel, then I appreciate you all for finding me here and supporting me further and watching this video in your spare time. But yeah, today I just wanted to make a video for you all. This is all off the top of my head. I just wanted to drop in and talk about something, because with me and my personality, I'm constantly trying to understand myself better, know myself better, do shadow work, and express my thoughts, because I think a lot. I have a overactive brain, as we all do, but I keep a lot in and I think a lot. I have so many thoughts a day compared to what I express outwardly, as we all do. But yeah, today I just wanted to kind of talk about my purpose here, what I feel like my purpose here in life is. Also go into my placements a little bit more. Also talk about starseeds, and I'll get into that all a little bit more. And if there's anything that I touch on in this video that you all would like to hear my thoughts on, or me to express more, feel free to drop a comment below. You can always drop a comment on anything you relate or think while watching any of my videos. It's very much appreciated. But yeah, a little more about me. I was born April 21st. I do have a couple videos if you go to the oldest videos on my main page where I talk about this more, but I was born on April 21st, born 2 weeks late. My due date given by the doctor to my mom was April 7th, so that would have been Aries season, and I love astrology. I'm very in touch with like going deeper into placements and signs and picking up trades, like learning about that stuff. So I was born at the start of Taurus season, and Tauruses are very much known to take their time, and I feel like that all resonates with who I am as a person. If you were to look up the degrees on your chart, we all have degrees for each placement ranging 0 to I think 30. I'm a first degree Taurus, and when I first started learning about astrology and looking more into my sign, that always resonated with me, because I'm a true Taurus. A lot of the traits that they say about Tauruses I relate to. But yeah, I was born on April 21st, and I recently looked up my moon phase, like what phase the moon was in when I was born. And while looking into that, I found out that it could maybe resonate more with how you feel and your personality. And I was born on a waning crescent moon, I'm pretty sure. And in that moon phase, the moon is about to enter like a full moon or a new moon, one of the two. Maybe it's either or, but with the waning crescent moon, it's like the last chapter. So for example, you've read all the chapters in the book, and you finally reach a conclusion to everything. So I feel like that goes into my personality, because I'm always the type to think about everything, think about the past while in the present, thinking about how the moment I'm in now has accumulated to be that moment, if that makes sense. And with that, I think about everybody, like not just my emotions, but usually it's who else is involved or what other factors are involved. And I take all that in to maybe help me go towards what I should do or what the outcome should be. And that's a very like analytical thing for me to do, but then again, sometimes it can be stressful, because one thing that I'm constantly trying to do is focus on the present. But I've always been analytical, and this is just me expressing who I am. But with being analytical, I feel like that goes into me being an Aquarius moon. I resonate so much with being an Aquarius moon, and I didn't look into my birth chart until I was 18, 19, and that's when it really hit home, because growing up, and I'm very good at recalling memories and experiences. I am a Cancer rising, so maybe if you have any of these plate or signs in your chart, you can resonate with it. But I'm able to really pinpoint, like, when I was a child, I resonated with how I feel today as an adult. Like, just having the same type of personality, like always being observant, always being in my head. But another thing that I've come across, and I've been able to fortunately understand things about my experiences and about myself in order to help me not relive like any bad experiences or negative trauma. Like, fortunately, I try not to take it inward so much. But that doesn't mean it still doesn't affect me. But anyways, with being an Aquarius moon, for me, when something happens to me, more so like not the best experience, or say someone's rude or whatever, their negative energy just comes my way, I will take it in, but then it's not until a little bit later until I start to process it. And one of the best like analogies I've come across about Aquarius placements is just that since it's an air sign, and it's also the water barrier, the water carrier, like it's a mix of, it's an air sign, but I feel like it's a mix of water and air. Like, things can become so cloudy in our minds, and we have to break through that fog to really reach our consciousness sometimes. So when I'm finally able to process how I'm feeling, then that's when I process what took place then. So it's like the past coming back into my future. So that has been a hard thing for me to deal with sometimes. But at my age now, and just me like understanding things better about people, about myself, it doesn't affect me too much, or I won't say too much, at least as much as it did in the past. And I read this fact, like, you are who you are, like, throughout childhood, but like with your brain, you take in so many experiences and so many lessons, and it's not until like your mid-20s until you really act based off of what you've learned in your maybe not your subconscious, but you really start to put forward what you think. And I feel like I'm reaching that point where like, I know what I know, and because I know what I know, I'm going to stay more true when it comes to embracing or approaching something. But yeah, going back to like my childhood, I feel like I've taken on so many experiences that have affected me the same way. And that's one reason why I like want to express myself more, to just give myself more of an outlet, instead of just remembering it for myself. And then I'm a Cancer rising, and I'll touch on being a Taurus sun too, but Cancer rising, I feel like that's very fitting as well. I'm a very empathic, sensitive, sentimental person. I love my family. I love my close loved ones. Very close to my mom. And I like to feel comfortable. Like, I'm an introvert. I do have a video kind of about that on my channel, but I'm a true introvert. I love being alone, but sometimes being alone, and as I get older, I'm like, when will I start trying new things or getting out of my comfort zone? And that's something that I need to work on daily. But I love isolating, and sometimes isolating can be a problem. But then again, sometimes it's not. If you feel like you have everything in order or you're healthy, mind, body, and soul, then do what makes you feel comfortable. And I'm an advocate for that. Like, especially looking back when I was younger, this kind of goes into a different topic, but sometimes I wish, and even at my age now, and another thing I'm trying to work on is just, of course, do what you want in your life, but still have limits. But something I wish I started to do when I was younger was test the limits with things. Not anything crazy, of course, but when you're young. And that's why it's so important to know about your inner child when you're a child, because with dealing with outside circumstances, other people, like, they can affect us, and it affects us to a point where it could impact who we are today because of our traumas, because of our experiences. And I feel like I did not explore my inner child so much, because this is another thing that I come across a lot of the time. When you're just being yourself, not being a bother to anybody, there is going to be people or someone who always has something to say. And you could be doing nothing wrong. You could be the nicest person to anybody, to a stranger, and they're still not going to like you for whatever reason. And fortunately, like, I always conclude it's them, it's not me, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt or it doesn't affect us. But just, I try to remind myself, just think, like, it's my life. Like, who cares what people think? Like, also putting people in their places. Like, people need to hear sometimes what they're doing wrong or that's not okay. So it's been a constant journey, like, speaking up for myself, standing up for myself, but I always result back to it's them, it's not me, and I'm not gonna let their energy affect me to the fullest. So I just try to move on from stuff. I do want to talk about more, but I don't want to make this a super long video. But going back to me being born on April 21st and being a Taurus, I feel like that goes into my starseed story. I won't touch on that too much, but basically a starseed is an individual from, or a soul from one of these other planets. There's so many different planets besides Earth, as we all know, but the planets that once existed. And starseeds come into or onto Earth to try to share with, I don't know off the top of my head, but there's 5D, there's 3D, but basically starseeds try to heal the Earth's consciousness. And I have a long backstory on this, so that's why I said if you want me to touch on anything more, then I will be happy to. But with my purpose, I feel like I'm here to share, and I always say, like, love is key. Like, just be, like, it's not hard at all to be nice to people. And when people are negative, when people are ugly and in their energy, I just feel so bad, because of course the earth and the world is structured to be like, what can I do to get ahead, and money is power. But if you strip all that stuff away, we were put on this earth to live and experience, and it blows my mind how nature just creates, and it starts with a seed. Like, if you plant a tree, it once was a seed, it was a sprout, and then a tree can grow and it could produce fruit, vegetables, like. And I also think about that in the same way as abundance. Like, we could have anything we want in this life. Of course, things make it harder for a lot of us, but if we have the energy, the momentum, we can make this life anything that we want it to be. So yeah, when I experience or come across negative energies, I'm just like, why are you like that? Like, cheer up. Like, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. And but yeah, basically with my purpose, I feel like I'm here to replenish, you know, like, I'm always smiling, because I don't know, it's natural. Sometimes I try to stop, but I can't. Like, even right now, I'm smiling. But yeah, I guess I'll close out this video. But another thing is, I appreciate you all so much. It makes me happy that you all have found me on this channel, on my main channel. You care enough to show your support. It makes me feel so much cared for, so much more cared for, especially when there's a lot of other stuff I want to work on and just research about myself. But I feel like I've always had a hard time making friendships or relationships outside of, like, ever since I got into my teenage years and my adult years, it's been hard. And a reason to why is because I like being alone so much, but just having the support and building connections with y'all, it does mean a lot to me, and I seriously mean that. So yeah, thank you all again. Feel free to comment and share your thoughts, and I will be talking to you all next time. I still plan on bringing more content in. Another thing I'm trying to work on is just self-discipline, because I feel like motivation comes and goes, but if you're disciplined, then that's just a characteristic that is strong for us to have. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I will talk to you next time. Bye.